Welcome to RealmIQ Sessions, featuring conversations on AI with AI founders, AI leaders, and experts from around the globe, covering the intersection of media, technology, Hollywood, and marketing. Please give us a follow or subscribe. This is our host, Curt Doty.
Hello newbies, hello my AI buddies. We talk about AI and film a lot here. Maybe it's my connections in history, or maybe it's because I'm a film buff. I don't know. But I know the craft and wonder where it's all going. In this podcast, we bring to the stage various AI leaders from around the world who are leading this charge to transform Hollywood to try to understand this better. Let's get into it. Today, we welcome to the realm Yulia Gushchina. Yulia is in charge of strategic business development at Filmustage, a dynamic AI platform for filmmakers. Made by filmmakers for filmmakers, Filmustage pre-production software uses proprietary AI technology to cut costs, time, and hassle. It's your go-to simplify everything from script breakdowns and scheduling to analysis, synopsis crafting, and budget management. She's also an advisor at the Harvard Business Review Council. Welcome, Yulia. How you doing?
Curt, thank you so much for having me. I'm doing great. I'm excited to talk about AI in the filmmaking industry and how we influence it.
Yeah, so you're coming from Malta, so you're representing Europe. Certainly, I talk with a lot of people from Hollywood about AI and filmmaking, and it's very controversial, but it seems like there's a lot of hope as new platforms are rising, new tools around AI. And so for me, I'm an AI optimist. And so I'd love to get your perspective of what's going on in Europe and the conversations that you're having around AI and video, AI and film, and how you're helping filmmakers.
Yeah, we work across Europe and in Hollywood as well, in the US, of course, because I have to compare these two different worlds and say that the US part of the world is moving much faster compared to Europe. And studios are quite open to adopt AI if they see a real value for it, if it cuts costs or speeds up some of the workflows. However, I see a very solid try first and then adopt later mindset on the studio level of the US studios, because they want to try first and then see whether it works for them on the real projects. In Europe, it's a bit different. Europe moves a bit slower, but more thoughtful. So I can call it maybe smarter. We can talk about the European Union AI Act, which set very solid boundaries around privacy and consent and the way we use the data of our users. So both of the worlds moving towards AI adoption, however they do it in two different ways. And Europe is moving towards adoption, however it goes, into a profound step-by-step way.
So it's slower than Hollywood. Hollywood's been slow to adapt or adopt, and that's been over 2.5 years now. And you're saying Europe, in this really category of AI in video and AI in film, is slower than Hollywood. Yet, I have to say that Europe is leading the world in terms of regulating AI. I think in the state, there's really not much regulation going on except state by state, which we're trying to protect here, but no real federal regulation at this point. So tell me about how regulation is affecting or encouraging AI adoption in film in the EU.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, of course. That's a very good question. It makes our work a bit harder for the reason that it takes a longer time to close a deal with the customer, because we need to sign literally 150 pages contract before we set any trials or POC with any customer in the UE, especially in the UK. And however, on the other side, I have to say that it makes it's like a marathon. We have to move through this. And the adoption will not be so sustainable without such boundaries and regulations that the EU government is setting up now. We're also taking part in this. We go through a lot of questionnaires and interviews from the government. So hopefully they hear us, and in the way how they try to provide us with different guidelines, how to act, how to store data. From one side, it helps us because we know. So this is a big no, we cannot do this. And this is the way how we have to do so. From one side, it gives us a lot of green lights. From another side, it still slows down the process a lot.
Well, I think that's very interesting. The fact that your contracts are so long because they are likely drafted with AI policies in mind, which means you as a company have to have your AI policy defined. And then your clients need to agree to that, or vice versa. Your clients have an AI policy that you have to agree to. Which is it? Is it going both ways, or are both entities aware as they go into these projects?
Yeah. Filmustage is a startup. We are a rather small company, just 12 people in-house, and we usually adopt when we see a very straightforward AI regulation from our company, from the companies we work with. And since we move fast, we're very flexible as a company. I can compare because I used to work for a huge corporation previously, and that's a great plus for business development. We adopt and we can follow all the regulations that the studios set up. What's more important, indie filmmakers, those guys, they're driving the adoptions. They can close their eyes sometimes on some things that they don't really understand. They want to see the results. They don't have a lot of money. They have brilliant ideas and they want to get a result. They want to go through the process as soon as possible to get the budgets done, to get the pitching documents, coverages in the best way so that it stand out. And we rely a lot on indie filmmakers in that.
Okay, so I think it's great that the EU or the government is actually contacting you and giving you guidelines and checking in. This is something that's completely foreign in the United States. It's the Wild West. And so it's very interesting that as you're developing your policies and your contracts, that the government is weighing in and making recommendations, not really looking over your shoulder, but being that helpful partner, so to speak, to enable AI adoption. Is that correct?
You mean the government or setting out the guidelines?
Yeah, the EU, whoever's enforcing or advising you on regulations is helping you in ways that we don't have that in the States, right?
Speaking about the company I work for, Filmustage, the core technology was developed in-house. We started the business 5 years ago when, let's say, the AI hype was just, in the very, very beginning. So everyone started talking about AI when OpenAI developed the ChatGPT. So it was, I don't know, two years ago. So we started way earlier. So it's easier for us to call the government as friends because we can influence the technology because it's under our hands. Thinking about startups who are building something on top of OpenAI technology or Google technology or you name it, it can be a bit trickier to do business in Europe because they need to, call OpenAI or Google, which is not an easy task to change anything in the way APIs work. Okay, they don't collect your data. However, what if you would like to set up more things to control? That's a big question. So for us, I can call them friends. In America, you call friends are like people we can say that
Yeah.
they are our well-known guys.
Yeah.
And be
Advisor.
honest, yeah.
That's interesting. Okay, so you mentioned independent filmmakers leading the way in terms of AI adoption because they are stressed by budgets or challenged and look to AI to solve their production and post-production problems. which is, I believe indie is going to lead the way in this. And even in documentaries, I think there's ways to use AI in documentaries with historical recreations and stuff like that, not to really alter the facts or anything, but help support the storytelling when you don't have footage of Henry VIII, right? And some story about, kings and queens from 500 years ago. What did that look like? Well, let AI figure it out based on some reference. How are you working with indie filmmakers, and can we expect to see any films coming out that use your platform or tools to help filmmakers?
We work with a lot of indie filmmakers. They usually self-serviced customers. So basically log into the account and upgrade subscriptions if needed. So we rarely see them face to face, comparing to studios whom we have to talk a lot and close deals only face to face communications. However, we stay in touch with a lot of users in order to build a platform for filmmakers, because you need to collect a lot of data. If you haven't talked to your customer today, well, think about the productivity of that day. And indie filmmakers are people who never sleep. They always reach out to us at night, early mornings, and they want to get results. They ask a lot of questions. They like to educate themselves. They want to learn. Recently, I had 2 trainings with 2 groups of indie filmmakers. And the way they were asking me questions, I saw the real interest in their eyes. They wanted to get to know what's behind different tools that are inside Filmustage. And I have to say that we are not replacing. Well, some of the jobs will be, changed. There is no sugar covering here. However, you need to learn the completely new process. You're enabled with AI tools, so you have to know how to use this superpower. It can be uncomfortable at times. However, you need to learn it. And the way they are asking, they really want to get hands-on experience. Studios are also okay, but they're a bit they don't really worry about the speed and the process that much comparing to the indie filmmakers. So we work with both, but indie filmmakers are making this revolution, that's for sure.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's production companies that make films. The studios don't make the films. They fund it and get it, right? And is your platform helping studios in that way at all in terms of AI?
Studios are using Filmustage into different ways. Studio executives, the creative part of the things, they want to get raw data as soon as possible. So they put a script into Filmustage, get AI to read it through and generate full script breakdown. Then using that breakdown data, they want to get production schedule. They can customize it according to the real data they can input. So they feed this data and then the system regenerates production schedule for them. And they also can use AI to generate budgeting. So 5 minutes, make maximum 10. They can get raw data about a project. So they can scheme and look through 50 projects per day. And that saves a lot of time. They don't need to get professional details to details breakdown and budgeting. They want to get this raw data before thinking where they need to go to Movie Magic and recalculate everything to get it to compare with the real world. That's how they get the fast result on stage. They love it. From another side, they also own a lot of production companies and the studios, right? And they want the production companies to use Filmustage once they decide, okay, 1 out of 10 projects are going to production. And so that's how we distribute the software. We start from the tops. They see the real value for it. Then we start to conquer the people who are doing real world, first ADs, line producers, and a lot of people.
Right. So you're involved with the studios before the film is even greenlit, and that gets you in early in the process. And people don't realize that, films are not shot linearly, scene by scene. that analysis or breakdown of the screenplay shows in groups, like all the locations at one time, all the locations, similar locations at another time. And then what is the synergy, or where the company moves, where's on location, what shots are on set.
Yeah.
And that has nothing to do with the linear read of the script. So you're saying your platform kind of breaks that down and then assigns a budget to those projected costs based on being on location with a certain amount of crew, certain amount of talent above and below the line. And then when they do a company move to a stage, what are those costs? And then your platform is able to then give an estimate, at least, on what that film would cost to produce, which is pretty amazing, right?
Yeah. And what's more important, filmmakers, they don't use one single platform to do everything. So they start from screenplay writing. Screenwriters, they use Final Draft, for example. A lot of people using Final Draft, and then they need to do pre-production things somewhere else, maybe in Filmustage. And then there is Movie Magic, a huge software platform that has been around for ages, and it's still a standard, and it will be for some time. And it's important for technology providers to not to develop an isolated software. So I think it's a big mistake to make filmmakers to do everything on one platform. You cannot satisfy everyone. People like to do budgeting in the old way. They like to do it in Excel spreadsheets. I have been talking with a lot of filmmakers who say, I don't need to do it in Filmustage. I want to do breakdown and scheduling and then do it in my template. I have been developing this budgeting template for 20 years. It's perfect for me. Nothing will replace it. And that's okay. So we make sure our users are able to export, meaning download their results into different formats. Excel spreadsheet, PDF, or Movie Magic format. So we give them freedom. They can limit themselves to script breakdown and scheduling only, maybe call sheets, and then they would like to do budgeting or scheduling as well in Movie Magic. That's also like, okay, of course we want everyone to stay in Filmustage and do step-by-step pre-production here. However, that's totally okay. And we develop integrations with our partners. We are big friends with Final Draft, and they help us a lot to build this bridge between Final Draft and Filmustage. So yeah, technology does not have to compete. They have to build compatible environments.
Yes.
So it
Yeah.
enables.
Interoperability is the word. And that's very important. And it's always been a challenge. And it seems like you're solving that problem. I look at it through the lens of integration and aggregation, right? Because there are these, tried and proven platforms out there. People don't necessarily want to leave them or abandon them, but they want to integrate with whatever new features that you have. And so you're enabling that, you're allowing that, you're saying, yes, we need to embrace all these other platforms. And why not? Why shouldn't there be crosstalk and integration? Because you're not trying to, well, I'm not speaking for you, but you're not trying to dominate the world. You're trying to be useful and practical based on real problems that filmmakers and producers have in terms of time and effort to create a budget, let alone break down a script and then, produce a movie.
Yeah.
Cool. So based on that, you're working with indie filmmakers, you're working with studios, you have this interoperable platform that is enabling speed and highly functional features that are extremely relevant to the filmmaking community. What do you see the future in film? Not only just AI in film, but the future of film, because, it's been going through some things coming out of COVID, box office, reduced budgets. Do you see a proliferation of films that are powered through AI as a tool set? Or are you seeing smaller budgets? I mean, either one of those scenarios, your tool is still being able to help filmmakers and studios. What's the future here? And now we're going to take a little break.
Visla is a great AI tool. I use it every day. It is the faster, easier, and better way to record your screens and make content. Get a discount by entering Curt15. Go to visla.us or scan the QR code. Speechify is a really cool app. It is an AI voice generator. It does AI voice dubbing and AI voice cloning. Go to speechify.com or scan the QR code. Strikingly is the most loved website and e-commerce builder by entrepreneurs. It is easy to use, and they have launched 12 plus million websites and online stores and counting. Go to strikingly.com or scan the QR code.
And we're back.
Well, no one knows. However, I can see that, speaking about AI films, for example. So some people say that AI kills the human touch in filmmaking. However, I think that AI films in the future will not be made by machines, but it will be the machines who helps process and enrich the process, and the human touch will stay there as always. Because we are, when we want to watch a movie, we are craving emotions, and we are craving some real connection, and that's something that stays only with humans. Speaking about AI as a replacement for filmmakers, I personally think that AI has always to sit on a passenger seat. It's a co-pilot. It's not a director, and never let it be on your face. Sometimes I like to compare like the AI as a technology with the teenager. So it's still a kid. It's not a very it's not an adult. But this teenager feels as he's an adult. He can misbehave. He can be unpredictable, unreliable. However, we are, as adults, we have to know how to manage it. We have to know how to educate. And usually we educate our kids by our own behavior, by our own example. So it's in our hands. It depends on the government, on the users, and on the, like, everyone, on us people, how we let the AI grow. So I hope we will let it grow as a good person. And it's not only AI at the technology which influences the filmmaking. And let's talk about post-production. These guys, they have been always using high tech in their day-to-day dealings. They are on the curve of any breakthrough technology adoption, and cleanup and some different editing work has been done by AI for quite a while. And I believe that we still will be people who enjoy and admire the filmmaking process, and the viewers, they will be still satisfied. Filmmakers will be empowered, and hopefully they will learn how to use AI much faster comparing to the situation that we see at the moment.
Yeah, the challenges are not making faster films, but always making better films. Even without AI, Hollywood can pump out really bad movies. So, and that first AI film that launches is going to be judged as a film and not as an AI film, and suffer the critics' critique based on the story, right? The performance, the emotion, and all those traditional things found in films. But you mentioned post-production, which I think the post-production community, the visual effects community, is going to go through some changes, and there will be job losses. And so the concern from that community is, what do they do? When you look at a Marvel movie, there's 100 special effects houses, little boutiques that have 50 to 100 people. It's not even a boutique at that point. And so what happens to those companies? Because a lot of these scenes will be generated by AI, establishing shots, the design of spaceships and interiors and green screens. So AI is a tool. I believe that post-production supervisors, visual effects supervisors, and creatives should be the ones guiding and using this technology because they know how it's supposed to be used, when it's supposed to be used, and have years or if not decades of experience. And I'm interested in seeing what those people, those professionals do with these tools, not be displaced, but become a superpower within the industry. I think there's that possibility, and that's a positive lens in which to look through this change that's going on.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. And we don't have too many VFX supervisors using Filmustage because it's not really made for post-production. However, still, there are VFX supervisors who want to see the script before the production starts. And they may also be part of the budget calculation because, well, you need to decide whether it's going to be on the post-production or on the production side of the things. And I've never heard any hate words from post-production supervisors because they basically used to high tech in their day-to-day dealings in their work, in their daily work. However, line producers and first ADs, sometimes they see scary eyes and they can get nervous when I show how the product works. And okay, that's what I'm doing. Why do you show this to me that someone could replace me? And that's I always get mixed feelings in that case. And well, AI can replace many jobs, not only in filmmaking, right? So you come to a grocery shop and you never see any shop assistant anymore. And imagine that's like even 5 years or 10 years ago. Well, Europe is a bit slow in technology. So even 5 years ago, we had a lot of shop assistants. Not now. Even now, it's all you do it by yourself. Where are all these people? Maybe they are AI prompt engineers now. So we have also positive things that new jobs evolve. Yeah.
Definitely new roles are going to be created and there will be consolidation. But when you talk about budgeting and breakdown, what's interesting is if you do a traditional breakdown on your platform, Filmustage, let's just say post-production and breaks it down in a normal scenario. Can it also do an alternative in special effects as proposing, now, if you did this in AI, this scene could be done in AI and you would have a cost savings of 60%. Are those options presented in your platform, or is it that evolved at this point?
Yeah, that's a good question. Unfortunately, we don't have that functionality for now. However, it would be a great one. For now, we have only suggestions on the breakdown side. So you can analyze the whole script and ask AI what are the suggestions where we can get some VFX improvements. However, it does not suggest that these VFX can be done with generative AI. And that one has to be done manually by VFX professionals.
Right.
It just highlights that this is a place where that car crash can be done on post-production, not in the real production side.
Right. So that means that the visual effects supervisor who breaks down those special effects scenes still has a job and will make the recommendations on what's the best approach to creating that scene. So there's hope for a while for those people, but it seems inevitable that at least with your platform or another platform that comes along, that all of a sudden, you're going to get these recommendations and prototypes and pre-visualization that's springing forth from what was a screenplay, then a script breakdown, and then a scene by scene. Directors would, take a screenplay and then, create thumbnails, draw them right on the screenplay. This is how I see that scene, right? And that thumbnail process, sketching process, seems like, if it isn't happening already with some platforms, that is something that could happen with AI, right?
Right. Exactly. Yeah. Well, looking forward to this. And since we are speaking to a lot of our users, we are collecting a lot of feature requests. And if anyone is listening to is a Filmustage user, and you have in mind some ideas that, okay, I need this, like I cannot live without that functionality, reach out to us and we'll definitely put it on our list. Hear other people's feedback and see if it's really needed thing. It will be included in the roadmap. So that's a good point
Yeah,
about.
it's very interesting to get that feedback. And beyond email, is there a feedback mechanism within the platform? Like as people are working with it,
Yeah.
are they able to ask questions as they are using it?
Yeah, there is a little chat box inside the platform, which is available 24/7. So feel free to drop a message there. You will be met with AI. Firstly, an AI support agent will talk with you. However, if you will still have any questions, just ask to be connected with human, with a real person agent. Yeah.
Well, it's good to know that there's still humans behind customer service, right? Everything can't get automated yet, but I appreciate that. And
I just want to say in the support, a few kind words to the AI agents that they give you like immediate support, immediate reply. You don't need to wait even 5 minutes. It's just really fast. Sometimes real people are busy and AI can give you some replies just in 2 seconds and you will get your information very fast and you will be assisted immediately.
yeah, that's very interesting. So you've considered the user journey and considering those people who are a little afraid of this kind of automated process and those who embrace technology, and there's a path for each of those users or personas. And I think that's very important because you're helping educate as they go along. If they have questions, there's a place to ask those questions, get answers to help them move through the process. Is that right?
That's correct. And I have seen a lot of questions regarding the way we do, let's call it cleanup after the AI. So the Filmustage works in the following way. You put a script on the platform, so you upload, and then the AI scans it line by line, picking up certain categories, up to 12 categories pre-coded. However, well, you can create more. And that it's not ideal, even if you do it by yourself, the breakdown will not be 100% perfect. Give your script to 10 different line producers, you will get 10 different breakdowns, not 100% the same. So you need to do your cleanup. So you start reading the script, not from the script, but from the breakdown. You read the script, learn it, while you're doing your breakdown. It's a completely different way of doing things. And since OpenAI made this revolution, people can talk to ChatGPT in completely different ways. So you can write grammatically incorrect sentences without any commas. You can even write in different languages. You can use Spanish and then say, give me output in English. It's so natural. It will understand basically anything that you give it to the software. And Filmustage is tailored to a standard way of doing things. And what I see potentially problem for us that customers got used to a super effect of getting the result out of AI. So give me a perfect image of a cat so that I can print it out for my daughter to draw it, right? And it gives you so many different variations. And it also suggests, do you want to create it a bit cute or more serious? And so on. So it interacts with you. It's a super user-friendly tool. I'm talking about ChatGPT. And so everyone uses it. Once you get to professional software, you still need to be responsible for what you get from AI. You have to read it through. You have to do your cleanup. The personal touch that we've been talking about through all the session has to be there. And I encourage everyone who's using AI, be responsible for what you get from it. Make sure that you're 100% happy with the output and then move forward, for example, to do your budgeting. We're trying to educate our users, helping them and saying that there is no magic. That's just a software, machine learning made by humans, not perfect.
Yeah, so I appreciate all of that. And I want to ask one last question. So when studios or filmmakers are inputting their entire screenplay, which is considered their IP, their intellectual property, what safeguards are there that, one, protects their IP within your platform, and two, what protects that IP from being trained on? Do you have the firewalls set up?
Yes, we have the whole written regulation of the way we use customers' data. First of all, we don't train our software, our neural network on customers' data. We do this only when we have written consent from the users. This is rule number one, very important. Secondly, we passed all the needed certifications that big studios require, and we're in the process of obtaining SOC 2 certification. That's probably like too technical to talk now. However, that's a green light that usually studios require from any software providers. Doesn't matter if it's AI or blockchain or just accounting software, doesn't matter. That's just standard that all the technology providers have to pass. And thirdly, we're in US company. So speaking to all the US users, so we follow the US government regulations on the way we store the data, and no one sees the script. So it goes on the hash coverage to the cloud, and even the most expensive scripts are staying in the safest environment. Fortunately, we're taking that serious.
Yeah, no, and that's fantastic. That's the number one concern in Hollywood is the protection of IP. So I think companies like yours, even though it's a startup and small, actually being in Europe, I think gives you a leg up or an advantage in terms of being an acceptable platform that has ethical and legal boundaries as to how they manage people's content that they put in, which is a very sensitive subject. I applaud you. And I appreciate, and I have a hashtag innovation for good, right? Or AI done right hashtag. So you're doing it. I appreciate that. So where can people learn more about Filmustage?
Oh, you can go to our website, filmustage.com. And we have a fantastic blog about everything that we do in Filmustage. We also host a webinar this Thursday, 10 a.m. Pacific time. We will talk about AI budgeting. We have a few invited guests who will help me to understand whether it is possible to create a budgeting template by AI that will satisfy everyone, because everyone has their own way of doing film budgeting. And it's going to be a friendly talk and a product demonstration. So if you would like to learn more, or if you're an existing user, you can come and talk to the team, ask your questions. It will be like a round table, very friendly and warm atmosphere.
That's fantastic. We'll put those links in the chat. So thank you so much, Yulia. It was fantastic. And I learned a lot today, and I appreciate the fact that you're doing everything right. And thanks to all of you watching and listening. Keep it up and smash that subscribe button, and see you in the next video.
Thank you so much for having me. It was a lot of fun. I liked it a lot. So thank you.
We'll have you back.
RealmIQ. Transform your business with AI-driven innovation.
Subscribe to our Media Slam newsletter and learn more about the intersection of design, content, and technology.
CurtDoty.co. Branding, marketing, and product development.